Welcome to Kavya Stories Diary.
Joseph was the 11th son of Jacob, born to his beloved wife Rachel. Since Joseph was the firstborn of Rachel, Jacob loved him dearly. However, this special treatment made his brothers envious of him. Jacob, his father, had given him a robe of many colors, woven from the finest linen, embroidered with golden threads. This robe was more than a gift. It was a symbol of favor. His brothers resented him for it. One evening, Joseph approached his family around the fire. His voice was filled with wonder. "I had a dream," he said. "We were binding sheaves in the field, and suddenly my sheaf stood upright while all of yours bowed down to it." His brothers glared at him. "So you think you will rule over us?" one of them spat. But the next night, Joseph had another dream. The sun, moon, and 11 stars bowed before him. Even Jacob, his father, was troubled. "Will your mother and I bow to you too?" he asked. His brothers' jealousy turned into hatred, and they began to plot against him. One day, Joseph was sent to check on his brothers in Dothan's wilderness. When his brothers saw him from a distance, their anger boiled over. "Here comes the dreamer," one sneered. "Let's kill him and say a wild animal devoured him." But Reuben, the eldest, intervened. "No, don't shed blood. Just throw him into that pit." Joseph, unaware of their plan, they seized him, tore off his multicolored robe, and threw him into a dark, dry pit. Hours later, a caravan of Ishmaelite traders approached, their camels carrying spices and goods. Judah suggested a new plan. "Why kill him? Let's sell him instead." For 20 pieces of silver, they handed Joseph over to the traders, who led him away in chains toward Egypt. Back home, they soaked his robe in goat's blood and presented it to Jacob. "Is this your son's robe?" they asked. Jacob clutched the torn fabric, his face contorted in grief. "My son is dead," he wailed, tearing his garments in sorrow. In Egypt's grand city of Thebes, Joseph was sold to Potiphar, the captain of Pharaoh's guard. Despite being a slave, Joseph worked diligently, and God was with him. Potiphar soon trusted him with his entire household, but Potiphar's wife, a woman of beauty and deceit, watched Joseph closely. One evening, she approached him and whispered, "Come lie with me." Joseph stepped back. "How could I do such a wicked thing against God?" she screamed. "This Hebrew slave tried to assault me," she cried to her husband. Potiphar, though doubtful, had no choice but to throw Joseph into prison. Yet, even in chains, Joseph found favor. The prison warden put him in charge of the other prisoners. One day, 2 royal servants, the cupbearer and baker, were thrown into prison. One morning, they awoke troubled. "We had strange dreams," the cupbearer said. Joseph, now confident in God's gift, said, "Tell me your dreams." God gives interpretations. The cupbearer described a vine with 3 branches that bore grapes, which he pressed into Pharaoh's cup. "In 3 days you will be restored to Pharaoh's service," Joseph declared. The baker then told his dream of 3 baskets of bread, but birds ate the bread from the top basket. Joseph hesitated. "In 3 days, Pharaoh will execute you." 3 days later, both dreams came true. But the cupbearer, once freed, forgot about Joseph. 2 years passed. Then, one night, Pharaoh had 2 troubling dreams. 7 fat cows were devoured by 7 thin cows. 7 full heads of grain were consumed by 7 withered ones. None of his magicians could interpret the dreams. That's when the cupbearer remembered Joseph. Pharaoh summoned him immediately. Pharaoh described his dreams, and Joseph confidently declared, "God has revealed their meaning. There will be 7 years of abundance, followed by 7 years of severe famine. Appoint a wise man to store food for the nation." Pharaoh was impressed. "Who is wiser than you, Joseph?" He removed his signet ring, placed a gold chain around Joseph's neck, and clothed him in royal garments. "I make you second in command of all Egypt." As Joseph rode in a golden chariot, the people of Egypt bowed before him. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.